Guys, what's going on? Summer Del Piso back once again with yet another video. We're gonna do this time a video game character analysis, but we're not gonna analyze a character so much. We're just gonna analyze the video game yet again. This video game that we're gonna analyze is called The World Ends With You. The original title in Japan, when it came out originally, was called It's a Wonderful World. You guys already know this if you guys saw the previous two video game character analysis videos on the game. Why am I, Summer Del Piso, going into analyzing this game so much? Because it is a game that was ahead of its time by far. It spoke not only a lot about the trends in metropolises, but also it talked a lot about the human psyche, inclinations of individuals, and how they'll emotionally respond to certain situations. And they brought a lot of metaphysical ideas into the fold as well. We're gonna talk about it right now, an aspect of it. Like, comment, subscribe, let's get right into it. What I'm gonna talk about in question, right? We already know the plot if you saw the previous video. We were talking about Sho Minamoto, very, very powerful, the most popular character of the game, The World Ends With You. The World Ends With You. His sort of personal ambitions in the midst of the antagonist's overall goal with Shibuya. The main antagonist, as we know, is Megumi Kitaniji. Who he was in the game was the individual that, he was a Reaper. As we know, Reapers, you know, they are in line, they're employed by the composer. The composer is the god of the game. Like, think of it as the creator, the source. The conductor is a step below the composer, and the conductor sort of carries out the composer's will. Below the conductor is the game master, which is the presider over the Reaper's game, which is that game that sort of judges men, like the souls of men. People that get, you know, in the real ground, enter this the underground, which is a parallel reality, and then they enter unwillingly this Reaper's game, or willingly. I think it's either you get into it. The only unwilling character that entered the game was the main character, Neku Sakuraba, only because he was a proxy for the composer. We already know the summary and the synopsis of the game, so we're gonna leave that for another video, or check my previous video. Megumi Kitaniji, more importantly, stood against the composer's will to completely eradicate Shibuya because he believed that people still retain their independence, their creativity. What ended up happening was, in order to enact, he was the main antagonist, like I said, in order to enact his will, what he did was he passed on these red pins upon amongst the people of Japan. Well, Shibuya, right? Because the game mainly took place in Shibuya. They had these red pins, and what he was doing through these pins was that he was using this engine in the game, this fundamental thing in the game called auto-suggestion, which is what we use it here in real life, what these marketers do with in terms of advertising their products. They use suggestion in order to get us and propel us to make a purchase. What he did was, of course, the game has a little bit of magic and hocus pocus. He was able to infuse his will in the pins and was able to have everyone's thought process on the same level. At a point in the game, in the final act, everyone was saying the same thing, talking about finding a glorious future in the midst of discarding individuality. Why are we talking about this, right? There's so many characters. We could have analyzed Megumi Kitaniji himself, because that was incredibly important. Him, in terms of why did he even oppose the composer? What was his main, we know his main ambitions, but what was his raison d'etre, right? What was his reason for opposing the composer? We could have talked about Megumi, but I want to talk about his plan and the implications of that plan in the real world, what's going on now. You see, succinctly put, Megumi wanted to try to stay the composer's hand from eradicating and destroying Shibuya by having everyone go on the same plane of thought, the same vibration of thought, and imprinting them and auto-suggesting them with ideas, the same ideas, no matter what culture they were from. They all had the same idea. Fast forward into this new reality, right? This reality here. It seems like if you're an individual with a modicum of common sense and a little bit of individuality and independence of thought, I'm talking to you men here, right? You're on Semen retention. You sort of look around and you see that people are generally the same, right? They sort of had the same inclinations, the same predispositions, whether it be someone from Turkey to another person from Uzbekistan, to even the homeless person in the streets of Beijing, China, which is not very common, but it does happen, right? Their system is not perfect. But my point is, there's a lot of parallels in the thoughts of the people here, right? No matter what color, creed, religion, or God they serve. Why is that? Is there some sort of parallel to Megumi Kitaniji's plan that has already been enacted here in the past, that has come to fruition now? It's up to you guys to decide. But you're here to find out my opinion on this, right? I'm not a fan of the whole NPC theory. I think that people are unique. I think people have their own experiences that make them individuals, right? We're not binary codes, 0 and 1s. I reckon that we are all souls, separate souls. The thing is, there is a common thread that I have noticed with individuals, right? Therefore, when you get to a certain level of vibration through the practice, you know, your various special practices, as we know, for us men, semen retention, being celibate, right? There is nothing going out. I've realized that individuals from various backgrounds, war-torn lands of Somalia, to the very posh neighborhood of Mayfair, London, they all act the same way towards me and my energy. It's very interesting. Why is that? Why? I have my own theories. I think the 2012, when that happened, where allegedly it was going to be the end of the world as we knew it, whoever posited that whole sentence, right, that encompassing phrase, was correct to an extent, right? It was the end of the world as we knew it. I think that that was the beginning of the streamlining of the thoughts of every individual amongst the globe that could and can be reached. I think that individuals think the same ideas when it comes to success. I think people have lost their uniqueness. What kind of bug was that? I think people have lost their sentience. I think people have lost their individuality. And in a way to define that individuality, they seek out people that mirror and reflect their mindsets, which is also the sentiment of the individuals that they seek to get the reflection from. It's insane. We have unique souls. I'm glad I found a lot of you guys via this channel, right? We've done incredibly well. The community has grown to extensive lengths, right? We are still against this scourge. This is all my opinion, guys. This is all my point of view, my ideas, right? We are against this scourge of a lack of individuality. What does that even spell out or bode for our future of our society, right? It'll be something akin to like 1984. All these social media accounts, I mean, some of them, right? They sort of quote George Orwell, thought crime is going to be a thing soon. Women are the best at pushing the party's agenda, and everyone has to be uniform. There is no room for individuality or uniqueness. This is slowly encroaching onto our society. If you think about it, the cancel culture, right? This cancel culture that has become very, very prevalent it's been a thing. It's all based on individuals that are not within that sort of circle, right, of social behavior and norms that are accepted by the party. The social media and the big voices and the elites thereof. If you fall out of line with those types of behaviors, right, that are deemed to be acceptable, you will lose it all. You will lose everything. Your idea of a social life, your idea of employment, your idea of friendship, which is essentially your social life, everything will be upheaved and you will be cast out into the darkness, right? Into the shadows. Men on semen retention, as we know, we have sort of inflicted this upon ourselves, really, when we're being on this practice of semen retention. By being celibate, we have already separated ourselves. We put ourselves in the mire, in the ditch of cancel culture. We are just waiting for the fingers to be pointed and our jobs to be lost. Granted, listen, I've already faced my threats. I've already been attacked, so to speak. Not physically, because these guys never directly attack you. They just sort of do pop shots. And let's relate it back to Megumi Kitaniji's idea of trying to liberate Tokyo from the composer's hand. Maybe there is an ideological Megumi Kitaniji in the midst of the elites that make the decisions here in this world. Maybe he believes that by streamlining people's consciousness, there is an idea of a liberation that we will achieve. You could see this, I think in Naruto, they even did this too. Shippuden, Uchara no Maraka, right? His whole idea was such an idealistic young man, incredibly skilled, a prodigy at jutsus like most of the Uchihas were. His idea was to streamline consciousness with the, what was it, the chakra fruit? Something he was meant to summon the 10 tails. Something like that. But his whole idea was to streamline consciousness and to make everyone the same, really. Or they all are sort of witnessing their dreams, right? Or they witness their success in their various dreams. The whole idea is to streamline consciousness. We could see in another video game, what is it? Or other media. So that's the sort of the end game, to make everyone think the same. I think that's incredibly dangerous. I think that's incredibly horrible for the future of our society. And men, being on semen retention, understanding this direction of fate, I think we need to combat this with every single modicum of energy that we have in our bodies. Do you understand? Can you see this in 10 years, 15 years, when every individual is the same? Maybe you've quit the whole idea of living on a rock somewhere and following semen retention till the very end. Perhaps you want to start a family someday. You go try to speak to a woman and she's parroting the same thing that you heard from your ex-girlfriend 5 years prior, right? You chalk that up to coincidence. Maybe you remember some quote you read in The Secret, right? You go on with your life and you go on to the next woman and she parrots the same thing. This is what's going on now. The seedlings of this type of life is going on now. We don't need a Black Mirror episode to highlight this fact. What we need to do as men, we need to continuously stay on this practice. There is a victory through attrition that I always talk about on my channel, where we are winning without firing a single shot. Understand the metaphysical laws that are written into this world by the Monad or whoever demiurge hijacked this place, right? Thoughts exist as something physical. When you think of something incredible with a lot of passion and aggression, that thought will be felt by the individuals around you. We need the gas, we need the energy. What is it? Semen retention. That energy that is drawn from that practice when properly circulated will increase the energy of your thoughts, increasing the broadcasting range, meaning, and of course we talked about the aura, how your thoughts are sort of a building block, a Jenga block to your entire aura. Let's break it down, right? Well, let's give it to you succinctly in a sentence. When you are on semen retention and you accelerate and energize the thought forms of your ideas and your thoughts, your beliefs, they'll be broadcasted. Your aura will inevitably, indirectly affect the people around you, and they will start to see change. A victory without firing a single shot. Megumi Kitaniji is a very idealistic man, right? He is a very idealistic, brave individual, right? To even stand up against the will of the composer. The thing is, his plan is a little half-cocked. We do not need a streamline of thoughts in this world because it spells out destruction for our reality and any sort of semblance of independent thought. We need to be worried, gentlemen. We need to be scared. Final statement here, what I'm saying is this. Is there something that you could do to actively get on the preemptive attack for this scourge, right? Be on semen retention. Eschew social media. Social media will have a whole plethora of lewd content, licentious content, women half naked, men telling you that true masculinity is having a harem of women and disposing of your most valuable essence that's more valuable than gold. The prevailing idea, which is something that I've deduced from living in this world for so long, is this: nothing good comes about without suffering. Sacrifice is necessary. The sacrifice in this case is the pleasures of the physical reality, right? Sacrifice that. Eschew the things of the modern world. It's not hard, guys. It's not hard at all. I've made the sacrifice and I have not turned back yet. Keep pressing forward. Make the sacrifice. Semen retention is the way, young men. Do it and you will find truth. You have to do it completely. You have to do it in earnest, as one of the past YouTubers used to say, and do it with your heart and your mind and your focus in front. And you will sever through this encroaching influence of the streamlining and the uniform of the thoughts of the individuals around you. And with that being said, that is all I have to say to you guys today. If you guys enjoy that kind of content, like, comment, subscribe, share the video with some peers. We do have the Shadow Collective, of course, the membership program for the channel. So if you guys are interested in that, to have access to exclusive interviews, emojis and whatnot, which we are bolstering in this current moment, do so, follow, it's nice. Don't ever let this place get you down. Remember, being a harbor of this type of ideology, right? Semen retention, eschewing the modern world, staying away from modernity, it will cast you into a position that's even more isolated than Jesus when he was on his way to being crucified. And Peter, I forget, it was either Peter or Simon, rejected him thrice. Remember? Jesus was a little more lucky back in the day because he had disciples. He had friends, people that were completely on his wavelength. In this world, darkness has sort of evolved to understand exactly how to isolate and to separate the power and divide the power of good souls, right? And of course, bolster the power of their own force, which is streamlining intelligence, streamlining thoughts. Stay focused, stay on your point, gentlemen. You're going to be isolated, you're going to be marginalized. That is just life. Understand that there are spaces like this on YouTube where you can chat with people like me, people that are interested in semen retention, that understand what is going on, and you will not be lonely. Trust me, I understand the feeling completely. I don't have any friends here in the States. This is just the way it is. It really is the way it is. But I do not harbor any anger or resentment to the people. I am angry about the goddamn serpent, because he is the real enemy behind all this. So it's whatever. Guys, like I said, don't ever let this place get you down, and stay radiant, stay positive, and stay ascended. I shall see you guys in the next video. Woo!